Imagine the exact moment humanity realizes we no longer have to depend on just one single, fragile sphere spinning through space for our ultimate survival. We are jumping right into the thick of it today in this explainer. What happens when Earth stops being our only home and starts being just the origin point?
I mean, what if Earth is literally just the first chapter in a much larger story? We aren't talking about just planting a flag or leaving a few footprints in the dust anymore. No, we're exploring the reality of leaving our single-planet existence behind completely. Because honestly, the massive leap from simple space exploration to a true multi-planet civilization, it's going to transform every single part of human existence. Economics, culture, politics, relationships, literally everything changes the second we get a permanent address out there in the dark.
Now, this journey is going to happen in some pretty distinct and honestly brutal phases. Step 1. It's not some distant, romanticized galaxy. It starts right next door. The moon is going to serve as our harsh but absolutely essential training ground. It's where we got to figure out how to survive in completely artificial environments, how to adapt our bodies to low gravity, and, let's be real, exactly how many thousands of rolls of duct tape it takes to keep a lunar habitat from springing a catastrophic leak. Once we actually master that unforgiving environment, humanity takes the ultimate leap to step 2, Mars, the first attempt at a true, permanent second home.
And Mars is incredibly tempting, right? It has day-night cycles that feel kind of familiar to our biology, plus those tantalizing signs of ancient water trapped right there in the geology. But the reality we actually have to conquer is vastly different. It's a freezing, bone-dry, heavily radiated environment. Living there isn't going to look anything like Earth. Instead of open skies and fresh air, we'll be trading our sunny days for domed, heavily shielded, and deeply buried cities engineered purely for sheer survival.
And you know, the psychological impact of being in that kind of enclosed environment is going to be profound. Think about this for a second. A child born on Mars would experience the universe completely differently. The sky would look different. The horizon would feel different. Their entire definition of home would be totally alien to us. Just sit with that. The physical reality of living your whole life inside a totally artificial world, maintained by humming machinery, will reshape human psychology from the ground up. Our minds will literally expand from asking how to protect just the Earth to how to protect humanity wherever we happen to live.
Because of this, our current, simple identity, just being Earthlings, is going to fracture into these wonderfully complex layers. We're going to have moon settlers, Martian citizens, orbital engineers, asteroid miners, all existing at the exact same time. And because they're living under completely different physical constraints, these groups are going to develop totally distinct cultures. Give it time, and we'll hear entirely new accents, see unique customs, and watch different traditions emerge, all dictated by local gravity and extremely strict resource limits. We are going to become a deeply layered species.
So this identity shift brings a totally unprecedented economic transformation. We're moving straight from a global economy into an interplanetary economy. And in that economy, shipping delays won't be measured in hours or days, but in orbital launch windows that might only open up every couple of years. Plus, pricing isn't just about cheap labor anymore. Imagine the delivery fee for an Amazon Prime package to Mars. It's fundamentally shaped by vast distances, the relentless physics of gravity, and the immense cost of rocket fuel. A mundane, everyday object like a metal wrench on Earth could literally be a priceless luxury on Mars, just because of the sheer effort it took to get it there.
Which naturally leads to some incredibly urgent political dilemmas. I mean, who actually owns the moon? Who gets to govern Martian land? Who has the ultimate authority to set the rules for everyday life in space? Right now, nations on Earth struggle to cooperate on basic global issues, and space settlement is going to magnify every single one of those geopolitical tensions. We really have to ask ourselves, and soon, if the future of humanity out there will be carved up by competing nations, owned by profit-driven corporations, or somehow managed by humanity as a whole. We're going to need way more than advanced rockets. We need a massive leap in political maturity.
And here is the terrifying paradox of all this. By spreading across the solar system, we beautifully distribute our species' risk of extinction. We finally stop keeping all our eggs in one fragile planetary basket. But, on the flip side, we trade one massive existential risk for thousands of new, highly localized vulnerabilities. A simple supply breakdown, a bad communication delay, or a single broken life support system in a fragile off-world colony doesn't just mean a temporary inconvenience. It literally means death for thousands of people.
Because of those massive new risks, the very nature of human infrastructure changes completely. We are talking redundant power systems, immense radiation shielding, and extreme zero-waste recycling loops. Engineering absolutely stops being just a respected profession. It becomes the literal life-or-death foundation of civilization. In a multi-planet world, a wall isn't just a wall to hang a picture on, and an air duct isn't just for comfort. Every single pipeline, every solar array, every water recovery system is a fragile lifeline keeping the dark, freezing vacuum of space from killing you.
But hey, it's not all terrifying risks and intense pressure. We're also going to experience an era of accelerated off-world science that's going to spark a literal golden age of discovery. Just imagine how much agriculture, biology, and medicine will leap forward when we can actively study the human body or watch how crops grow under entirely different gravitational forces inside perfectly sealed habitats. We're going to learn so much more about the absolute fundamentals of life itself simply by forcing it to survive, adapt, and eventually thrive in completely alien environments.
To actually pull this off, though, humanity has to completely change its perception of time. Think about it. A message to the moon takes just seconds, but an emergency alert to Mars, that takes agonizing minutes. Actually building out a planetary settlement takes decades, and generating a self-sustaining ecosystem from scratch, we're talking centuries. A multi-planet civilization absolutely cannot afford to think in short-term election cycles or quarterly corporate profits anymore. We will be forced, for our own survival, to plan generationally.
And that brings us to a cost that honestly often gets ignored in the sheer excitement of rockets and rovers, which is the immense emotional toll. We're going to have to learn how to live with vast, unimaginable distances separating families. How do you maintain relationships and genuine intimacy when a simple birthday greeting, or worse, a frantic emergency alert, takes several minutes just to cross the dark void of space? We're gaining a much grander home, yeah, but we'll have to deeply rethink how we stay emotionally connected to the people we love when physical closeness is literally millions of miles away.
Under the intense pressure of that isolation and those extreme environments, art, philosophy, and religion are all going to drastically transform. We'll definitely start to see entirely new myths born from the very first off-world generations. Space stations will become these grand cultural symbols of transition, hovering between the old world and the new. And fascinatingly, Earth might transform in our collective minds into a revered, sacred museum of our origins, a powerful symbol of what life looks like when it's allowed to just flourish naturally and freely under an open blue sky.
But, and this is absolutely crucial, expanding to the stars is not about abandoning our home planet. Improving Earth and expanding off-world do not compete with each other. They fundamentally strengthen each other. The incredible, hyper-efficient technologies we absolutely must build to survive in the deadliness of space, things like perfect water recycling and ultra-clean energy management, will directly make us much smarter, vastly more sustainable citizens back here on Earth. Solving the absolute hardest problems in space naturally solves some of our biggest problems right here at home.
Ultimately, becoming a multiplanetary species isn't just an engineering or technical challenge. It's the ultimate moral test for humanity. Do we spread cooperation and knowledge, or do we just give our exact same mistakes more room to grow? Because if we carry all our old selfishness, conflict, and greed with us in those rockets, well, new worlds simply won't save us. So as we stand on the brink of this incredible threshold, I want to leave you with this to really think about. When we finally pack our bags for the stars, exactly what kind of civilization are we choosing to export?